If you are just starting out with the idea that it's time to heal, or if you've been working on it a while but you feel like you've kind of hit the brakes even though you didn't plan on it, you may be getting discouraged and you may be wondering, is this even worth it? It was tough enough to go through this stuff originally, and now I have to revisit it to try to heal it? Well, first of all, let me suggest that you get try out of your vocabulary, because try implies that you may fail. So let's not even go there. You're going to heal because you have the total capability to do this. And I would say yes, it is worth it. But if you're just starting out, you may not know where to start. And if you have become stuck, you may not know why. So I was thinking about, what is the thing I have done that has helped me the most, that has been a part of each step once I figured this part out. It was learning how to love myself. And I would say it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, because I made the decision when I realized I really didn't need enemies. I had me. I was my biggest hater. If there were thoughts about myself, they were negative. What I had to do was to kind of make a second me, if that makes sense. The observer, the one that was paying attention from the outside, more objective and able to call me out, basically. Of course, I'm not a split personality. I'm not suggesting that. But I needed to have a part of me being more mindful or vigilant, maybe, about my thoughts and my words, so that I would catch it and think about what I was accomplishing with this way of thinking or speaking about myself. The way I learned to first like myself, of course, before I could love myself, was to start paying attention to the things that were cutting away at my self-esteem, what there was of it. And there wasn't a whole lot, honestly. And that's the case with a lot of us. So this observer part of me would notice if I was mumbling to myself and saying, man, I'm such a loser. And all of a sudden I would be like, wow, did I just say that to myself? How was that helpful? I'm trying to love myself and I just said something so not loving. And one thing that would help me if I was like, yeah, so what? If I'm being mean to myself, I deserve it, was to imagine the inner child, the younger version of me, sitting across from me and watching the reaction of that younger version to what I said. If I would say, oh man, I'm such a loser, and then imagine my inner child sitting across from me, it would of course be, inner child, you are such a loser. And it wouldn't be a guess. It would be obvious that how that impacted my younger version was devastating. Head bowed, tears in eyes. The way I would talk to myself was not just mean to the adult, but to that child that's already wounded, and I was just adding to it. And that doesn't mean we should feel bad that we do that, but we should try to correct it, because once we heal it, we will start realizing that that inner child doesn't have to carry all that. that sadness of the trauma they've been through. They can just have fun. Go out and swing, twirl in the grass until you fall down from dizziness and then giggle. You know, it is worth it to take this stuff on. So this one thing, I guess it's kind of a combination, isn't it? Being mindful about how I spoke and then correcting it, either taking it back or rephrasing in a kinder way, helped me get over being my own hater. And eventually, since I had been trying to find positive things, I realized these positive things are true. I'm not just blowing it out my ass. I'm not such a bad person after all. And that has served me down the road when I have been worrying about things, which I have done excessively, I have to admit. When I would be afraid, then I now say, wait a minute, what did you just put out there? Is that really what you want the universe to understand is your focus, that you want more of? Or, that's not loving. Why would you be worrying like that over something that hasn't even happened? If you want to be more loving to yourself, why don't you think about how it would be if things went well, rather than if everything turned into a disaster? Over and over, I see how developing this observer that will make it known to me that my words are speaking things into existence that are harmful to me has really helped me at each stage of healing that I have taken on. It's something to try. Remember, it's a bad habit. We grow up thinking that we are not good people because of adults in our life who have made us feel that way. We can't look at them and say, I want you to make it right, because probably they're not going to cop to it, and they certainly wouldn't put any effort into making it right. But we can just acknowledge where it came from and acknowledge that this is not serving us any longer. It is basically breaking that bad habit of being our own haters and learning to be lovers. It's worth a try.